Alright guys, we are now back with our part 1 of our stringing tutorial. As you can see, we have a change in the camera angle here. That way I can easily show you which hole we're going to be feeding our strings through, not only on our top string but on our sidewall here as well. Really quickly, I want to go over the knot that we tied in the intro video that's going to keep the string from sliding through the holes when we attach the mesh. Okay, so really quickly, we're going to take the one end of the string, all right, and we are going to wrap it around our finger twice. 1, 2, pinch so that our finger can come out. We still have those 2 loops like so. And we're going to wrap it around the big tail and up through both holes. And then when we pull tight, it should look like this. Okay? Exactly like that, nice and tight. Alright, so now that we have our string in place, we're going to attach the mesh here. Alright, so I like to prop the head up onto a shaft. Some people prefer to have the head without a shaft on. I like it on the shaft so that it is secure, and I can really pull down on our knots and make sure that the string is tight. Alright, so getting down into the actual stringing portion, we're going to start with feeding our string through the first hole. Okay, so the first hole here, we're going to feed our string all the way through. Again, the knot's going to keep it in place. We're going to feed that same string up through the first diamond here. Okay, first diamond of the mesh. Pull that all the way through. We're going to feed the string back through hole 1, right on top of there, like so. Okay, pull that all the way tight so that the mesh is flush with the head there. Okay, and we'll pull it tight in a sec, but we want to take that tail end and feed it back up through the mesh, through that first diamond there. And when we pull tight, okay, make sure it's flush, pull it nice and tight so it's secure. Okay, that's locking our mesh down to the head there. Alright, now that we have this string coming out the first diamond, we're going to take that and go through the back of the head in the second hole, 1, 2, alright, and pull that all the way through, but we want to keep a little bit of slack here, because what we're going to do is feed this tail end through the mesh here, from the front to the back, like so, okay, but on top of that string that we fed initially. So it's going to look like this. Alright, when we pull it tight, they should line up whole with the mesh piece, like so. Okay, and we want to make sure that this part, the top string, is tight. Alright, because if we have it loose, then the mesh will tend to bag out. Our strings are pretty loose, everything becomes loose. Alright, so I'm making sure it's nice and tight here. Alright, a good way to tell if it's tight is if the mesh is flush with the head, and I also try and feel the tension on the string and make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, now that we have that first part done, we are going to take that string and we are going to feed it back through the mesh from back to front and pull that all the way, and again keep a little bit of slack here, like so. Feed that string from the front to the back and then down through that hole, like so. Okay, so we had a little loop and we fed the string down, and it should look like this when we pull it nice and tight. Okay, it should look like 2 railroad tracks and then 1 loop on the bottom there securing it nicely there. Alright, again, check the tension, make sure it's nice and tight, make sure the mesh is flush. Alright, and that is our first hole. Now we're going to move on to our 4th diamond here, and our 4th hole on the head. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4 on the diamond, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4th hole there. Everything should match up. The 5th diamond here should be right in the middle. Alright, so take our line, feed it through the head from back to front. Pull that tight, but keep a little bit of slack there. Find which diamond we're going to feed it through, which is the 4th diamond. Go from front to back, and on top of that excess line, and pull that tight. All right, again, make sure that it is tight there. Mesh is flush. We can check the tension of the string, like so. Okay, and that's our first part there. Again, we're going to feed it from back to front on the diamond, keeping a little bit of slack there. Feed that line from front to back in the 4th hole and through the loop, down into the loop. Pull that tight. Check the tension, make sure the mesh is flush with the head. I like to pinch that first part that we had here. I like to pinch that as I'm pulling down on the excess string here. Okay, makes everything nice and secure. All right, the rest of the top string is going to be the same thing, the same pattern. We're just skipping diamonds and skipping holes. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on to the 6th hole in the head there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th diamond on the mesh here. Okay, so again, feed back to front, through the diamond, front to back, pull that tight, make sure it's flush. Check the tension. Feed that excess line through the mesh, back to front. Keep that slack there. Feed the loop, feed the line from front to back in the head, down through the hole, and make sure it is tight. We do the same thing through the 8th diamond. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th hole. Okay, take the line back to front, up through the diamond, front to back, and on top of that excess line. Make sure that the mesh is flush. Pull that tight. Take that line through the mesh, back to front, through the hole, pull that down. All right, now to finish it off, okay, we're going to take our string, feed it through that last diamond, which is the 9th diamond here, from back to front, all the way through, okay? Then we're going to take that excess line, and we're going to feed it from the inside out through that first hole, same thing like we did to start our top string here. So inside to the outside, pull it tight. We want to wrap that excess line, go through the diamond again, and through the hole from inside out, thus securing our mesh all the way across the top. Okay, check the tension here. We're good. Make sure the mesh is flush, like so. Pull that nice and tight. And then how we tie off our top string is the same thing that we did to start our top string here. Same knot, right? So I like to wrap it around the finger once, twice, pinch, okay? Feed that line through the holes, like so. Find where that excess line is, right here, and pull that nice and tight. And it should be pretty tight, like so. And what I always like to do to finish off our top string here is grab the mesh, wrap it over, pull it down, really securing the mesh down. The knots are tight. Do the same thing front to back. And then we can really see how our diamonds line up from side to side. Okay? And that's our top string.